Hobby's here, which, by the way, she has a new podcast that is out today.
Yes.
Called Get Real with Caroline Hobby. Honest women, honest talk. And you can get it wherever you listen to your podcasts. And what do you have?
This is for you.
A
I already
juice?
got Amy one. Yeah.
Straight greens.
Straight greens.
Oh, is that where you got yours?
Yeah.
You know what? I got to be honest. We're friends, so I can say this. I don't really like all green.
Wait.
That was an Amy recommendation.
I thought that you wouldn't want the sugar from the fruit.
But I like greens if there's like a dab of like
Apple?
orange or apple.
No, you need some fruit.
This clean juice one, it's good. Trust me.
Let me say who Caroline Hobby is, by the way. You have a lot. There's a lot to your
Oh,
resume.
good. Okay, good.
By the way, country artist, used to be in the band Stealing Angels. And so here's a clip of
He better be dead.
Oh, God.
Better Be Dead.
His house burned.
You're on Amazing Race twice.
Yes, we almost won. We got second place the second time we were on it. We lost by 4 seconds with Jen from Runaway June.
Lunchbox, did you like her on that show?
Oh, amazing. I was ready to marry her.
Amazing.
Actually, I think we met because of Amazing Race because you watched it and then you like said hi to me at an airport.
Yes.
Correct.
And then y'all were there. Then that's how it's like I got to meet the whole family.
No, I remember when Lunchbox saw Caroline at the airport and he was like freaking out. He's like, I have to go say hi to her. I have to go say hi to her. I have to go talk to her. And so we did.
I know.
So you're in a country group.
Yeah, Stealing Angels.
Then you're on Amazing Race twice.
Mm-hmm.
You're also married to Michael Hobby, the lead singer of 1,000 Horses.
Yes.
Now you have this show called Get Real with Caroline Hobby.
Yeah.
Where I want to play a clip first. This is you and Caroline Bryan. You talk to a lot of country singers' wives.
Yeah.
What's that angle about? Like, why that?
Okay, so it kind of just started because a lot of them are my friends because I'm married to a country singer. And so we sort of have this network of women that get together and hang out and just like literally when our husbands are gone, we like just do wine nights and chill and watch The Bachelor and all sorts of stuff. And so I was like, the people from my podcast that I interview are just sort of people that I do life with. And so I was like, I'm going to do a series on all these wives that I'm friends with. And then it just sort of grew. And now that's when I really decided to focus on women because all these women are married to these great men, but you don't really hear so much about the women as you do the men. And they're so interesting. So I was like, let's focus on them.
Here's a clip where she's talking to Caroline Bryan, Luke Bryan's wife.
So I go off to college, and he and I dated since we were in the 8th grade.
Oh, my gosh.
So
Did y'all decide to break up?
We agreed to go our separate ways and just see what was out there.
So that's terrifying in itself.
Yeah, so I didn't know. Luke was the second guy I'd ever kissed in my life.
So
Ever.
this is a whole podcast of you and Caroline Bryan. And does Luke care? Is Luke like, Caroline?
He came in the beginning and before we started recording it. And the thing I also really have loved about this podcast with the wives is they're so vulnerable and honest because I'm just like baby stuff. I'm pregnant right now. And we were going through like baby struggles and miscarriages. And Caroline wanted to share all her information about her struggles too. And Luke was like, oh yeah, you got to talk about that because Caroline had a miscarriage. She's like, you got to talk about that. You got to share that information. And then he was like so funny, took pictures of us and we're just hanging out, just fixing his truck outside. Didn't care, just chilling.
The new episode that's out today, by the way, is with Jana Kramer. And you guys talk about babies
Yes.
and miscarriages and navigating marriage and career. I'm going to play a clip real quick. This is Caroline Hobby with Jana Kramer on her first marriage.
I got my anxiety post a bad relationship.
Okay, early on.
I was 20. It was an abusive relationship. So I became really I had
When was that
really
like kind
bad
of one of your
PTSD.
first loves?
Well, long story short, he was the one that I married in Vegas when I was 19 years old. Did a drive-through. I knew him for 2 weeks. Super classic Jana Kramer love story.
So I'm going to say this again. We're going to come back in a second. It's called Get Real with Caroline Hobby. Honest women, honest talk. So whenever our show's over today, I suggest you go and subscribe to this and listen to them. What we haven't talked about is your dad also did my teeth.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Did you know
And
that?
Amy's.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I
yeah.
knew that.
Who went first, me or you?
You.
Oh, did
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they look so good, you guys.
I get a lot of compliments on my teeth.
Well, thank gosh you got them done before you became this big old TV star.
Well, I don't know about big old or star, but yeah, her dad did my teeth. The crazy thing about Caroline Hobby's dad is like he was attacked in the water. What was
A
it?
shark.
A shark.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
shark.
Yes, and you would think that would be like a very traumatizing, one of those events that you weren't excited that happened to you. But my dad is such an adrenaline junkie that he was once he like lived through it all, he was so stoked that he got this like shark attack because it like, got on his face, but his leg.
How does a shark attack a human?
Okay,
like
so
what happened to him?
You shouldn't really be afraid because really there's a little human error involved with this. So we go spearfishing. We go to the Bahamas every summer. We've been doing it since I was like 5. It's like our family tradition. Michael and I actually eloped in the Bahamas, so like we've been doing there for as long as I can remember. And we always go spearfishing, and we have a guide that goes with us. And okay, so my brother-in-law and the guide are very much all about following protocol. Like when you stick together as a team, and when you spear like 2 fish, you get out of the water because sharks come immediately. But my dad always likes to be the Lone Ranger, and he doesn't want to be with the group because he wants to have his own little area to get his own fish. He doesn't want to have to be like competing with everyone else. So Willie and Marcus saw the shark, and they immediately got out of the water. No one could find my dad though, because he's like yards away on his own, and he didn't know the shark was coming. And so the shark was like looking for blood, and basically hit my dad on accident trying to get the fish.
So he bit your dad?
Yeah, in the face and the leg.
The face?
Yeah.
How was your dad so low? I mean, I don't understand how you're standing up. Like, or was the water up to
No,
his
he's
neck?
all the way in, right?
Yeah, you're kind of just like floating on top of the water, but these sharks like go in like 20 feet water, and they'll like swim up to get the fish. They're not scared of they're not scared of the
Dad
surface.
was attacked by a shark.
Yeah,
You got to be kidding me.
yeah.
Caroline Hobby's here. Check out our podcast, Get Real with Caroline Hobby. What was that amazing race like the first time that you did it?
It was so much fun. It was probably the most adrenaline, like constant adrenaline I've ever had because you can't turn it off. You have to be in race mode 24 hours of the day. Like you're sleeping, eating, breathing this race mentality. And you don't know who's forming alliances. You don't know who's like on your side. And so you kind of always just have to be so on that I had like PTSD. Is that how you say it? PTSD afterwards for like a month, just like coming down off this adrenaline. But it was so cool traveling the world. And Jen and I had made an agreement before we started that we were always going to assume the best in each other, and we weren't going to fight, and we weren't going to be like those people that get together and just like tear each other apart. Because if you self-combust within your own team, that's hurting yourself so much more against the rest of the other teams out there. So we're like, okay, we're always going to support each other. We're always going to believe that we tried our best, and we're just going to like do as best we can because we're 2 girls and there's like all these strong guys. So we already had the odds against us. But I think our positivity really got us far. And we just like laughed the whole time, always had a blast with each other, never took it too seriously, but like worked our butts off and traveled the world. It was amazing.
And your partner was Jen Wayne, who's in Runaway June.
Yeah.
And so how long is the actual race on Amazing Race?
You're gone for 3 weeks.
And you're just gone. It's like,
Yeah.
go, you take off running when they did that thing, like, go.
Yeah.
You run. And then even if you kicked off, they put you in a hotel and you have to stay there until everyone's done.
Sequester.
And what kind of money did they pay you for that?
Well, it really is dramatic based on what place you get.
Oh,
So-
they pay you tiered?
It's
Like,
tiered.
wow. So when you finished second, though, you had to make some decent money?
You would think, because first place is $1 million. So we were 4 seconds away from first place and $1 million, which would have been so sweet. Second place is $25,000, and you split this 2 ways. So it's like $12,000 after taxes. We got like $9,000.
It went from $1 million to 25,000. Man, second place.
Wow, I was about.
Can you believe
I honestly
Like
thought you'd be like
$250,000,
20. Yeah,
Yeah.
You would think
250.
it wouldn't be so dramatically different.
That's dramatic.
It's
for
way
sure.
dramatic.
Wow. Caroline Hobby is here. She has a new show called Get Real with Caroline Hobby. Honest women, honest talk. It launched today.
Yay.
Big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking at some of these people you've talked to. Luke Bryan's wife, obviously Caroline, which we played earlier. Jana Kramer's up today. But you have upcoming episodes with Tatiana Hauser, who is.
Randy Hauser's wife.
You have Cassie Williams, who is.
She is newly engaged to Chuck Wicks, and she's Jason Aldean's sister.
And then you have Nicole Hawking.
Luke Combs' fiance.
Who was Beautiful Crazy was written about.
I know, 6-week #1.
It's so interesting, this concept, because I remember the first time that like Eddie came in and was like, have you heard Caroline's podcast with, right, Eddie? Organically.
Thanks, Eddie.
Yeah, loved it.
I appreciate the support.
Eddie goes, have you heard Caroline talk to Luke Bryan's Caroline? And I was like, I have not. He goes, dude, it's so good. And I was like, really? He goes, I'm not even just saying it because like we kind of know. He's like, and that kind of spawned this relationship here. not we already knew each other, but to like work together on this podcast stuff. But I mean, Eddie was the one who brought it to me and was like, "This is so good."
Eddie, thanks.
You're So-
welcome,
You're the
Caroline.
best.
It's awesome.
What other episodes are up already? Is Kane? Do you have Kane Brown's wife up?
Yep, Caitlin. She's up. I have Haley Hubbard. He's married to Tyler Hubbard from Florida Georgia Line.
It's good.
Brittany. I know Haley's the sweetest.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the common thread with all these wives of these country stars? Like, what do you have to? Because you yourself, your husband's lead singer of 1,000 Horses.
And they have a new album coming out soon. Just want to tell y'all because I know y'all have all been so excited about new music coming out for them.
Absolutely.
Everybody's waiting.
Can't wait.
And I know. I just want to drop that.
You gotta love a good wife plug.
Absolutely.
I can't not plug it. I'm so proud of
I
them.
agree. I agree. But what is it that you guys have to all like go through as the wife of like a lead singer or country star? Like,
I think you have to, if you're going to enjoy this life, I think you have to have a big appreciation for the music of who you're married to. And I think that you have to, I personally think that you have to be okay with just a very gypsy lifestyle. Like, if that's pretty much why we eloped when we got married, because there was never a time to plan a wedding. And I think all these women are so supportive of their husbands, and they definitely go with their flow, but they also have so much to offer on their own, and they're using the platforms that they have for their own individual causes that mean something to them. And I just think that that's really awesome. So I think that what they have in common is they're so supportive of their spouses, but also they have their own thing that they are using they are using their platform to spread good in their own way.
That makes me think of, you have a good one with Abby Smyers.
Yes, like Abby.
Dan from Dan and Shay's wife.
Who,
Yeah.
oh my God, they just cleaned house at the ACMs.
Oh yeah.
That was
And he just came over and cleaned my house as a. So it was awesome. Like, we're so
I was
close.
like,
Dan just
okay.
came over.
No, but that makes me think of how like she's so involved with they're both involved with dogs
animals,
and
big time.
saving
Love the
dogs,
dogs.
and like she uses that for like
Yes, it uses it to like get dogs adopted. I think
How-
Dan's completely vegan. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't do anything animal products, even close.
How do most of you guys meet these husbands, these lead singer superstar husbands?
Michael and I met at a bar at Tin Roof, and drinking when he was 21 and I was 24. So that we started way back in the day. But like, see, where did the other ones meet? I don't know.
Like, how do you? I guess my question is for a lot of the ladies who are listening out there: how do they meet a country star and date them?
Well, I know Nicole. I just interviewed her, and she and Luke, they met before Luke had anything going on. He was just a singer-songwriter. They were in Key West, and they were kind of like running in the same circle of friends because she worked at BMI, I think. And she had a boyfriend at the time. He had a girlfriend, and they broke up, and they were friends. And then she saw him like at Key West, just walking down the road by himself, and she was like, "Come hang out with us." And then they started becoming like besties, and then realized there was a connection, and fell in love.
Then you wrote beautiful,
And then he wrote a huge song about it.
crazy. Ah, look at this.
Yeah. Caroline and Luke met in college. I mean, I don't know.
You got to
I feel
invest early. It sounds like.
I think you
take
gotta
a
invest
gamble.
early.
I feel like a lot of them they were together before it all kicked off.
You think most of these people have these wives now have prenups?
Um,
If they met early, probably not. Right?
No. Yeah, I don't think so.
Would you advise someone? Let's talk about me, for example.
Okay.
If I started to date somebody now, I don't have a girlfriend. I meet someone in college. Would you say, hey, you should probably get a prenup, or are you against prenups?
I mean, I don't know. I think it would be
Me
totally
specifically.
Maybe if you were to date someone that you had known for a while, that like you had trusted or something. But if you met someone brand new, maybe, I don't know. I guess it would just depend. I would ask Amy. Amy's a good judge.
Amy
Have
hates-
her.
Amy-
Well, I just don't think prenups are very romantic. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing
But
that says
all marriage isn't romantic. Would you
Okay,
agree that all
okay.
marriage isn't romantic?
I get it, and I'm not the most romantic person either,
Yes.
but it's kind of like, here I am willing to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you live with me? But also, I kind of don't trust you to sign this.
Okay, I
But-
do think that personally, I wouldn't want to do a prenup just because you can always make more money. I mean, I know that sounds terrible, but
I can't.
yes, you can. You have like an empire going. You can always
can't.
add something else
Which
to
is
your...
why now I think maybe someone should sign one if they meet him now.
Oh, now you switch
I
sides.
know.
Okay, well,
no,
then-
I'm saying for
yeah.
me, like I'm not into prenups, but for you at this point in our life, like, and I can admit that I've matured a little bit. If you were talking to 24-year-old Amy when we first started, I would be like, absolutely
You'd be like,
never.
"Bubby,
Prenups
you're
should
broke.
not exist. Yes.
Don't be stupid.
But like now I see the ways of the world better.
Unless you met someone who's like kind of on the same like career level as you, who has their own money
it-
going on.
Well, she might want you to sign
I
a
would sign
prenup.
one, absolutely. I would sign one in a heartbeat.
I think it depends. Like I know people who have separate bank accounts who are married and they like separately live their life. So it just depends on
Just
what
a
fits.
question, Caroline Hobby. Just a question. That's all. The new podcast, Get Real with Caroline Hobby. Honest women, honest talk. Your goal of this podcast is what?
My goal of this podcast is just to really talk about real issues with women who are career women, who are married to men who are kicking butt, who have families, who are navigating, just navigating this season of life. I feel like that is, I mean, like Amy, you're in it with kids, career, husbands. Like I feel like this is just the big middle of life, and there's so many amazing things that are happening, but there's so many real things that are happening, and I'm always looking for support myself. And so it's just like sort of like a big support system. Like, okay, here's what's really happening, and we're going to talk about it. It's like great, but it's also there's some really hard stuff too.
You've done it all, Caroline Hobby. Country singer, reality star,
World traveler.
on Amazing Race, a podcaster, and you walk in the most famous walking group in Nashville.
I know.
Which is Amy's walking group. And I saw you on Amy's Insta story, and I saw you with a dog, and I was like, "Is that Caroline with a dog?"
Because well, now actually we just announced that we're pregnant with a little girl. So I'm joining. I officially have kids now. So now I really get to be hopefully an
about to-
official member.
We have some. It's like a stroller club slash. Like we got
Stevenson leads the way.
Yeah, Stevenson leads the way. It's more Stevenson's walking crew.
We follow him.
And then he's on his scooter thing, and then we got.
It's Amy. It's Gracie Mokler, who's Steve Mokler's wife,
She's got a stroller.
and it's you,
Natalie Pasley.
Eric Pasley's
And
wife.
Jackie's coming in.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
the most famous walking crew in all the country music.
That's right. It is.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Call-
It's
if
pretty
you wanna call
hardcore.
it
That's
that.
what I'm calling it. All right, Caroline Hobby, check
We
out our new
take up
podcast.
the whole road.
Yeah, that's right.
Get Real with Caroline Hobby. I'm a big fan of your work. Obviously,
Thank
you know
you.
that, and I can't wait for people to start hearing your podcast and hearing all of these awesome stories. And again, it was brought to me organically because I was told it was so good. Much the way I get music a lot of times. If someone be like that I trust, will be like, "This is so good," I'll hear it. And next,
Okay, well, just so you know, 1,000 Horses is so good, and it's coming out
there you
so
go.
soon.
There.
Hey, and she's got a baby.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. So we need to really play some 1,000 Horses.
Baby gotta eat.
Baby gotta eat.
Caroline, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too.
Congratulations on the podcast launching today.
Thank you.
Check it out. Get Real with Caroline Hobby, and we'll be back in 1 second.
It's about